Happy International Women's Day, and welcome to the first ever Oracle forecast. So, I have been thinking of doing something like this for a little bit, where you have a little bit of something that will help you navigate this week with a little bit more intuitive insight and a bit more confidence. So, yeah, something I've been looking forward to experimenting on this channel, as well as looking at it in terms of a part of my own personal practice. So I figured picking a card for every day of the work week for you to reflect, to meditate upon, and to just see how, and a chance to maybe see the world a little bit differently. Now, this is going to run a little bit differently from my Seer Saturday streams, where I take on questions from you guys, the audience, and I answer pretty much on the fly. It's going to be a little bit different from that. This time, I'm going to be pulling from 5 cards and an overarching theme card, courtesy of the beautiful Queen Herbie deck. So a song for you to get into the vibe of the week. And then, yeah, going to be a little bit more short and sweet and a little bit more reflective. Now, before we begin with this, I just need to give you a headliner in case you all need a little bit of a refresher on how these things tend to work. Unlike my Seer Saturday streams, where I am focusing on your individual question, this is a more general oracular reading. By US law and some laws internationally, I cannot say that this is a predictive medium. This is a thing for entertainment purposes only. And in terms of my own personal recommendation, this is something that should be in addition to or supplementation to medical care that you are already receiving, not a substitute for it. And certainly it is not a substitute for your intuition. This is something that, if anything, should help you sharpen it. Okay? But yeah, most importantly, the most important thing I need to tell you is, with any oracular reading, you take what resonates and leave the rest. If there's something you don't claim it. That's simple, okay? Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So first, International Women's Day. It is Women's History Month right now in the month of March, and International Women's Day is a big tradition, at least in my house. And the big thing that my family and I tend to do is wear lipstick. Traditionally, I tend to use red lipstick, but this year I felt like going a little bit more pinky with it, so hope you like it. And I feel like this year in particular has been a big reflection on the divine feminine as a whole, because the feminine has been greatly disrespected, especially over the last decade in the United States of America and in several other places. Just earlier today, actually, I was talking to a couple of friends about the significance of Friday the 13th, which, funnily enough, Friday the 13th is this week. And with a lot of Western mythologies, we often associate it with a spin of misfortune a lot of the time. You know, the black cats, the ladders, the broken mirrors, broken glass, etc., all those kinds of symbolisms. And 13 being a lucky number. Say for Asian cultures, the unlucky number is 4. Anyway, but when you look deeper into the stories that we associate with Friday the 13th, and even the mythologies about it, funnily enough, there's actually way more blessings that we could receive on Friday the 13th than negative omens. Like, for one, black cats. This is my wonderful silver obsidian assistant Luna here. Black cats are a guardian, a servitor for magic, so to speak. So they're actually blessings of cats that would come from cats, not just an omen for bad news. And then, Friday. If you look at the Norse mythology, Friday is named after Freya. A very significant goddess at that in the Norse pantheon. And 13 for women in AFABs, and even the moon. We have, on average, 13 cycles per year. You know the saying, once in a blue moon? That's the occasions where we have one more cycle. But on average, we have 13. On average, we have 13 cycles. So, when you think about Friday the 13th as a negative boom, congratulations! You have been cursed by the patriarchy. Think about that for a second. All those symbols I just mentioned are all feminine associated, and they're all considered bad luck by Western and patriarchal conventions. So, maybe this week, maybe call on Friday the 13th as a day of the goddess, of a day of blessing, of a day of connection, rather than something to avoid. So, I wish for all of my AFABs, FEMs, my trans women, and my fellow cis women a very, very happy International Women's Day and a very happy Women's History Month. May you be honored today, especially now when things are so contentious. So let's proceed with the reading, shall we? So, for Monday, aka tomorrow, I know it's a lot, especially for my fellow Americans who went through daylight savings time today. So first off, we got the devil. So, the devil, going through a little bit of a tarot history lesson here, the devil is one of the most misunderstood cards in the deck, in a tarot deck, in addition to the Tower, the Lovers, and there's one more. Apologies, I did not mean to blank out while I'm live, but at least there's two other. There's like one more card that often gets misunderstood. The Devil, the Lovers, and the Tower, the Lovers, and Death. That was the third one. Thank you, brain. So the Devil is one of the four most misunderstood major arcana cards in the deck, mainly because, well, it is using a mixture of Western esoteric imagery as well as imagery from other magical traditions in one go. And with the way the devil is in particular, there's a two-faced side with the devil. On the one hand, you do have the stereotypical oppression of pain and temptations that you often associate with the devil, that tugs at our heartstrings. But on the flip side of that, sometimes austerity and strictness can often be a shadow side of its own. And so the devil sometimes can be a call for you to indulge in something that everyone around you may be telling you is wrong, but actually is something you need at that moment. So, for Monday, a thing that you may want to reflect on with the devil is, where do you feel like you're holding yourself back? Especially when it comes to expressing what it is that you want in your life. Be it confidence, be it desires, or even something as simple as being honest with your feelings. And where are some things that are straining you? Where are the things that are oppressing you because of the things that you want? You got to balance both sides in this case. Other things to consider in terms of the devil, especially since it's about 2 places after death, is where do you feel stuck? Is it an illusion of stuckness, or are you genuinely stuck in the mud? And if it's the latter, what are ways that you could start pulling yourself out? Where is it getting overindulgent? Because the devil is often in the details when it comes to overindulgence too. Oftentimes, the pendulum swing of too much and not enough. Both sides of the same coin. Where can you see the middle? And so that's just Monday. I know for some people, Monday's already a lot. And I'm sorry if I happen to indulge in the Sunday scaries with you, but it really is an important thing to reflect on, especially early on in the work week. Because it's time that we freed ourselves from the shackles that sometimes we put on ourselves. Willingly, I might add. From old programming. So, allow yourself to take those off this Monday, tomorrow, whenever you get this message. And so, for Tuesday, let's see what we got. Tuesday we have the world. So, with Monday, you're looking at how things are tying you down. You're being able to reach that sense of completeness in the world. In this case, while traditionally in the Rider-Waite-Smith, the world is covered in terms of completion, of wholeness, of finishing a journey and preparing for a new one. In this case, I'm looking at it in terms of your environment. What do you consider your world? What does the world mean to you? For me, it's coming on camera right here and being able to talk with everyone and express myself. And to be able to take the energy that I'm able to be here with you and transfer it to the people that I love and care about every single day. Of course, it's never always confined to this space. I always try my best to put it within as well. And also, more importantly, how do you expand the bounds of your world? Because it's important that you don't make yourself so small that you can't move. And I felt that way before. It's only maybe the last few weeks that I finally know what it's like to take up that space, to be here, to be in this space now. So, really take that time and figure out what is your world. What does the world mean to you? Even if there are a lot of things that are loose and unsaid, there's got to be something that at least gives you that tiny bit of satisfaction. What is that for you? What is that balance? What is that revelation that made you feel happy to be here? That's something to look at for Tuesday. And now for Wednesday, we've got the 8 of Cups. Seems like this week we are very much looking into a deep emotional dive, because we're going through some deep shadow work in the first 2 days in terms of looking at where our shackles lie, where our satisfaction lies. And now based on what you know from these first 2 days, it's time for you to go a little deeper into your intuitive and emotional depths. So, do yourself a favor, take some time and determine which kind of rest do you need from moment to moment, because it's going to be different every day. Sometimes you need a hobby rest where you take up a hobby, preferably something that you can do kind of almost automatic, or something where after a while you start to get into a rhythm of some sort, and let it fritter away until it's time. Other times it might be a sensory rest where you go put yourself under a blanket, or this thing I've been recently doing, I would put my eye mask on, turn on the noise canceling feature, like the active noise canceling feature on my headphones, and just lie down or sit for 10 minutes in total silence. I'm not trying to do anything with my thoughts. I'm not trying to focus on anything or push myself towards some intention or something. I just let my mind rest. Just for those 10 minutes. 10 could be a bit much for some people. So maybe 5 or even just 2 minutes can be enough. And it makes you realize that A, time is an illusion, but also B, this world, even if you happen to be the most sensitive to what's going on, environmentally, psychically, etc., it's very noisy. Very, very noisy. So sometimes you just need to turn the volume down for just a little while. And that is perfectly all right. And then it makes it easier to get back to it. And sometimes you might just simply need a nap, which, yes to naps. Go take them when you need to. But if you've only been a bit surface level with the first 2 days, Wednesday, hump day, it's a good time to go deeper and seek within. Because whatever you're seeking is seeking you. And a teacher, especially, will help you tap into something that's already there and help make a better connection. Not to make you disregard what it is that's within your soul. It doesn't even have to be a conventional teacher. It can be nature. It can be even something as simple as a beverage or even a circumstance you come across from day to day. Does it have to be complicated? Does it have to be formal? Whatever message you glean is enough. All right. So next, we got to Thursday. We've got the 9 of Cups. So, from 8 to 9. So, we've got the emotional depths that you were going down to. And now, you're in the depths themselves. What do you seek when you're down there? What are you seeing when you're down there? First, take stock of that. And then, more importantly, don't take yourself too seriously through all of this. While maybe a serious action, there are still right practices that we have to follow sometimes. Prudent things that we have to do to make sure we are energetically protected and sustained and nourished. You also have to remember part of the journey is also being able to lighten up and have fun. So, as you're going through this adventure this week, Remember to laugh, get excited, get curious, ask questions, boldly go where no one has gone before, apart from Star Trek. But yeah, you're gonna come across some interesting, like, if you're gonna come across something interesting, learn all you can. Because these exact circumstances at that moment might not come back the same way. So, learn all you can, be brave, and take that plunge. Even the plunge itself can be fun. And sometimes it might be a little fun to go in the tunnel or be a little contrary sometimes. So I'm noticing the vortex in this card around this mermaid here. And even the mermaid's going to the left. Whoops, left. While all the fish, the school of fish, are going to the right or cycling to the right. So, yeah, sometimes it might be good to go to the opposite direction to see things from a different perspective. A hanged man lens, shall we say. That's a term that I've been using a lot recently over the past few weeks. That if I wanted to switch tactics or see things from a different perspective, take on the hanged man's lens. Go upside down. Or, to borrow from this one episode of Anne of Green Gables, to take a walk in someone else's shoes. And finally, for this Friday the 13th, we've got the Fool. And this is one I highly recommend, even though this is not the official Queen Herbie recommendation overarching this week, but I highly recommend Queen Herbie's new song, The Fool, from her latest album, Isle of Queen. Because Friday, the weekend, and as I said earlier, this week is the 13th, the Day of the Goddess. This is a time for you to take some risks. If you've got a spell for that, maybe cast it. If you got some plants you want to plant, get some seedlings started. If you want to move to France, go to France. Pull a card, and it's a Fool. YOLO. At least in this incarnation, you only live once. So, go ahead and take some risks. Embrace them. So, overall, this is a chance overall for you to make a very nice, clean slate for yourself by taking away the shackles of inhibition to establish what your world is, both in terms of of the cosmic laws that you are working under and the restrictions that you are doing your best to liberate yourself from. Because especially if you have had a woman's existence in some shape or form, whether you're trans, whether you're an NB, whether you're a cis woman, or you've had some marginalization of some sort, there has been this unfair expectation placed on you on how to be, how to act, how to just present yourself in some way to be safe and to be perfect. When really, it's selling yourself short. And it's not only sold us short, it's sold our previous generation short. Because what we've been taught is outdated programming that needs to be rewritten. And simultaneously, we also have to remind our predecessors, our guides, that it doesn't have to be this way anymore. They have the option of liberating themselves too. And likewise, it's also up to us to make sure the next generation doesn't have to be stuck with those same programs ever again. If not ever again, then certainly ensure by minimum that most of the damaging parts aren't repeated. And so that's where that emotional depth is going. We need your art. We need your message. We need your science. We need your research. We need your voice. We need you, period. If nobody's told you that in your life or any time recently, I'm telling you now. We need you. Okay? And with that, the song to get into this mood. Hello, old friend. The Mad Queen Mantra. And the card reads, might take a lifetime to reach the depth of my dopeness. Of course, you don't have to wait a lifetime to make a difference in your world and in your life. It might take a lifetime for an effect to occur sometimes, but you don't have to wait a lifetime for something to be reshaped in your life, to experience something different, etc. You don't have to do that. All you need to do is just be here and be you, with no apologies. Unless you genuinely hurt someone. In that case, then, yeah, go ahead and apologize, but not to the point of groveling. Okay? Like, groveling's the old programming. The new programming is coming at it with a sense of confidence and healthy dignity, not bravado. Looking at the lyrics, at least from what I'm getting here, even though it's been a little bit since I've listened to this one. The line before this line, might take a lifetime to reach the depth of my dopeness. The line before is, give love, and love increases. And at the beginning, life can be sweet as soon as you believe you're enough. You've got to heal, let go, and dust your crown off. Because you are a queen. Yes, even my men and my MBs out there, you are queens. I mean, Chapel Roan said it herself too. The Pink Pony Club is where boys and girls can all be queens every single day, right? So, you all are queens. Even if it's just for today, remember, you got a queen inside of you. So never forget that. How you're going to march up to that throne, that is up to you. Okay? So, with that, that is my Oracle forecast of the week. So, we've got a lot coming up on this channel, so keep your eyes and ears and your social media posted on when I come up and do these pulls. I usually do them on the weekends. It looks like it's going to be a weekend thing now. Saturdays and Sundays, we pull cards. The rest of the week, we game like a boss. So here's all the stuff that I do. This Thursday, we are doing a Jackbox TV party. Just to give you a heads up, it might start a little later than I scheduled because, unfortunately, one of my relatives passed away. So this episode is also in dedication to my beloved Uncle Ricky. So rest in peace to my beloved man. I'm going to miss you so much. Other stuff that we've got: Dandara Trials of Fear Edition for Women's History Month, as well as Destiny 1 and Jack and Daxter the Precursor Legacy. At some point, we will come back to Fatal Frame. I am currently on the first game of the series. I don't know if I will be on 2 Crimson Butterfly, like the original version, by the time the remake comes out, but we shall see how far we go. And as well, this year, in honor of Sonic the Hedgehog's birthday, we are going to play some Sonic games on here. So we're going to continue with Adventure as well as Sonic Mania Plus. I also love supporting charities. I haven't had enough funds to support them directly enough, but these are places that I highly recommend turning to if you need some extra resources or if somebody else needs the help. World Central Kitchen and Red Cross for international support, and in terms of domestic, as in American support, but even one of them also goes internationally. Side Girls Club is a mental health support organization for any women, femmes, and MBs of color who need affordable or free mental health support. Thanks to your donations, they've recently restarted back with the group chats. So if you need that, go ahead and ask away. And the charity for this season is the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, which the proceeds will go support future and current Black politicians. And here is every way you can find me outside of Twitch and YouTube. I have a second YouTube channel, which I'm going to supplement with stuff pretty soon, so keep an eye out on that. I also have a Substack called The Third Nerd. So I have an article that I'm working on at this point. So if you want to read some of the thoughts that I have week to week, check out thirdnerd.substack.com. I also have a coffee page if you want more intense one-on-one tarot and oracle readings. I do these really in-depth reports, and optionally you can also purchase a recording, be it audio or visual. And I just love going in depth. I mean, what I do on Seer Saturdays and what I do for these oracle forecasts, they just scratch the surface of what I do for what I do normally. So please go ahead and check it out. I'm going to have a special listing for the goal in particular that I've set for myself, which is Operation Seinan, which is basically working on getting money towards my tuition. So I'm going through a little bit of a blitzkrieg campaign this week. So if you want to support me, feel free to continue tuning into my streams or donate what little you can, or just buy one of my readings. I'm going to have a special listing for that alone coming up pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that. And most importantly, I have a coupon code. So if you use the coupon code Shamrock, you will get 25% off your purchase. Now, I'm not sure if it's per item or per purchase, but regardless, there's a discount there. So go ahead and use it. Finally, this episode was filmed in the lands of the Nanticoke and Lenape peoples. To learn more, visit native-land.ca. So, for those who are watching on Twitch, please feel free to stay behind for a little bit of a post-Oracle Sunday chat. But for my YouTubers, beloved YouTubers, this is the end of the video. So, until next week, please remember, you have free will, and you are the magic. And, as always, may your heart be your guiding key. Till next time, I'll see you later. Bye, everybody. And for my Twitch people, stand by. I'm going to do a post, a post Twitch chat, which I'm going to edit out of the YouTube version of this. But for those who are still online, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this new format that I've done. And yeah, I'm glad this has resonated. And that's really interesting that Fern, you dreamed of the number 13 recently. And I hope everybody's doing well. And yes, this is makeup. The lipstick I'm currently using is the Peri Pera Ink Velvet liquid lipstick. It's shade number 13. I just forgot the name of it, but it's some sort of pink. And then I also topped it with this Stay Glossy um, lip gloss in the shade of Cake for Breakfast. And I agree, YOLO really is the war cry of the millennials. It really is true. I mean, for me, I learned the Latin version first, which is Carpe Diem. Also, I think Patrona is technically a word. Actually, I have to double check. Um, but yeah, yeah, Fern. Really, like hosting reality. It's really surprising that a lot of my recent readings have resonated with you really deeply. It's just I love hearing these stories. And Momo, that is true too. Jason Voorhees. I've done a lot of film screenings of the Friday the 13th films. And this is the one time, I think this year we're getting it 3 times, I believe. So yeah, this is a very, very, very sacred time for sure. But yeah, I almost just found out last night that my beloved Uncle Ricky passed away on Friday. Yeah, so it was not that long ago. We're gonna go for his funeral on Thursday. So the Jackbox party might be a little bit delayed. But I am still planning on doing it. And yeah, I guess I really thought about Star Trek because the actor who played Commander Riker, Jonathan Frakes, he's from my uncle's hometown. They actually went to the same high school together. Uh, Frakes was a little bit younger than my uncle Ricky, so while they might not have been the same classes, they certainly would most likely know each other. And my next like Trekkie goal, besides chatting with Patrick Stewart, Sir Patrick, um, I figured as much. It sounded like Spanish, so I guess in a way I'm kind of doing spiritual midwifery. But yeah, I really want. Besides getting a chat with Sir Patrick Stewart, I also really wanted to ask Jonathan Frakes if he knew my uncle, because the odds are pretty good that he probably does, because my uncle knew him. Um, but unfortunately, I don't know if I'll feel comfortable asking him anymore now that he's gone. But on the other hand, I still would like to try because he is a pretty big Pennsylvanian that still comes back every once in a while. So yeah, I feel kind of a bond, a kind of a kindred, like a super odd kindred spirit bond with him in a way. Even though I'm not from Philadelphia or Pennsylvania directly, but I spend a lot of time up there, so I feel a lot of kinship for a lot of actors who are from the Philadelphia area or live close by. Um, like the actor for Superman, the one who did the recent Superman film with Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. He's from Philadelphia. Odds are pretty good. My friend Runcie might know him, albeit from a very indirect thing. But she knows the school that that he attended, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, 100%. I'm hoping to do more chill chats like this. I might do like more. I am thinking of doing like also more educational Q&A kind of stuff, for people who want to feel more confident about how to navigate readings, how to detect a reader that fits you, because sometimes it may sometimes be skill that makes you not attuned to a reader. Other times it's just not the right vibe. You might not click with somebody. And then other times it's just they're just after your money, so get out of Dodge. Like being able to determine these things is often very helpful. And I think especially if you're a reader yourself and you want to like jump into this as a business or as a profession, there's some guardrails that you may need to establish to make sure that you are doing these things ethically. So this is the other reason why that I started doing these chats, starting to think about doing these oracle forecasts, because not only do I want to contribute to the community a bit more in this way, through giving this emotional support, and I also didn't want to focus on predictions because I know predictive stuff tends to be too hit or miss, so to speak. So I wanted to focus more on the reflective quality about what it is that we can do with the gifts that we have to navigate through the week. And obviously, I only have one of infinite perspectives of day to day. There might be some clear patterns for the most part. There's still, I'm only one lens of several. So I could be way off on certain things, and that could be spot on in others. That's the nature of humanity, this incarnation, that I don't have to be perfect every single time, and that's okay. And also, I really wanted to experiment a little bit with my powers, so to speak. I had a little bit of a thing earlier with my mod and Runcie, um, with Hyun and Runcie, but I really wanted to take it a step further, to see, because I feel like already I have the ethics down packed. The ethics are the things that I feel I've gotten that down packed. I know where my boundaries are. I know what I can't do logistically and ethically. But what can I do abilities wise? Like, what can I do in terms of my skills? How far does my intuition and do my gifts actually go? And so I figured that pulling these cards would be the best way in figuring out how to do that. Hello, Sleepy Incubus. Welcome back. But yeah, I really wanted to start these oracle streams to really figure out, do I feel like doing this every week, or do I want to go for more short form kind of stuff? Yeah, absolutely. Like, even though I've been doing streaming for, I think this year will make it, did I hit the 10-year mark already? If not the 10-year mark, I'm already close to it. I'll double check. I'll double check the server now. But yeah, regardless, yeah, getting yourself out here, it's it's intense. I mean, especially with the way people are just getting very, they're getting very unashamed about something, like very unashamed about being, that would be really helpful actually, Momo. Thank you. Because I mean, I'm a little bit, that can be a little bit confusing sometimes trying to figure out like, where that lies. But yeah, I just saw your message, Incubus. Oof. But yeah, if you feel like something's off, trust it, because especially with public declarations like that, sometimes one of two things can occur. Yeah, either A there could either A there could be like some internal disturbance of some sort. Well, both of the internal disturbances, but in terms of the nature disturbance, either A, there could be something that made them switch, or B, sometimes if they're forced to make a public declaration, it might have been pressure of some sort, whether it's internal or external. More often than not, the latter. I mean, that's where drama channels are from. Yeah. And as soon as I save up a little bit of cash, I will tip you extra for that because I'm really grateful for that kind of thing. Hmm. Nah, I really want to in this case because, I mean, you've been really supportive to me, and I feel like it's good if anything to pay it forward. Okay, all right, no problem. I'll find something. I'll find something else. I'll find something else to support you. That's no problem. Thank you, Momo. I really appreciate it. But yeah, so yeah, for those who are just scared to take the first step or even are still figuring out what that first step even is, because I mean, I feel like for a good chunk of my YouTube and my Twitch time, and even TikTok by extension, it was, it's really, I think I was really figuring out what my first footprint was going to be. Like where I really saw myself being here fully as a creative and as a person. And I think there was the problem of you always have, I think, especially back maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, there was this pressure to narrow yourself down to this one or two things, and maybe occasionally you might add like a little sprinkling of other interests that you might like, but then oftentimes they feel like okay, you have to start a separate channel to cover these other things because it won't be popular. But yeah, no, even when I started, it just never sat well with me about trying to box myself into this one thing. Because as humans, we don't naturally do that. We bounce around multiple things. I mean, even if you guys even looked at your own, like YouTube rewinds, if you're into like YouTube stuff, they even did themselves breakdowns of what things you looked at through each quarter of the year. Through each quarter of the year. So even they themselves know we're not confined to one thing, and I feel like it's only now that they're finally understanding that we're multidimensional beings. And no, Fern, it's not a courtesy. I would love to chat astrology with you. In fact, I will do it right after the stream if you have the energy and the time. I will gladly do that. But yeah, um, I hope you all enjoyed this new format. It looks like it is a very good one. So let me know. Um, let me know what you guys think of this and what you happen to learn from week to week. And also, don't hesitate to look up these cards yourself and see. And even the song, you might get something completely different from listening to Mad Queen Mantra yourself. Let me know what things you get out of it, and share things. Don't be afraid to share things. Okay, I love as well that you guys are really active on the Discord, and chatting and sharing information, etc. I definitely need to add more threads on here as well. So yeah, don't be afraid. My door's always open. I also have a thread on Discord called Mic Check, where it allows you to self promo. That's self promo thread. So please share things that you care about, things that you want to talk about, things that are important to you. You want us to support you in any way, shape, or form. Share it there. We're all ears, okay? So with that, I'm gonna end it here. I wasn't planning on a raid tonight, but I will do one next week. But yeah, until next time, stay safe out there. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Get plenty of rest, especially with this daylight savings time thing. And as always, may your heart be your guiding key. I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.